In what started as definitely a prank, one of the most memorable pranks as far as hockey fans go, probably has to go down in one of the greatest pranks in sports history. John Scott, a man who's played, just 11 NHL games this season, entered Sunday's All-Star game as a captain. A captain. Voted in by fans seemingly as a gag. Not only that, he skated away with 2 goals, MVP trophy, and a check for $1 million for the winning squad, and a legion of new fans who were definitely thrilled to find a way to troll the league. And the NHL put itself obviously in a sticky situation when it allowed fans to vote for all-star captains, but did not limit the vote to players of a specific caliber. NHL fans, I think, seized on the loophole to vote in Scott, a longtime enforcer who's far from the type of player that the league wants to showcase at an event, especially to captain the Pacific Division. Now, Scott refused to cede his spot in the NHL, in the NHL All-Star Game, and that decision seemed to be taken away from him out of his hands when he was traded across conferences to Montreal Canadiens. What's more to it is that the Canadiens ultimately assigned him to the minor league club. Out of the league, Scott was now ineligible to play in the All-Star Game, let alone captain the team from a division in which he no longer plays. But the fans obviously rallied behind their vote. Their hero on social media, a lot of backlash. And guess what? It worked. It was a growing relations conflict with the public, and NHL ultimately caved in and said that Scott would now be able to serve as the captain for the Pacific Division. A nightmare, I guess, quote unquote, to speak for the NHL. Not really the type of guy that they wanted to be in the playoffs, or the All-Star Game. Sure, there was someone else that they would want to put there. And it's interesting how Bettman attempted to babble his way through the debacle trying to stop John Scott from playing in the game. It's so great that Scott did so well, I think. Sure rub Bettman's nose definitely in it. Would have thought 2 goals, right? The fans voted and John Scott delivered. He was the highlight of the weekend, I think. He touched the heartstrings of the nation as far as the sports goes and the hockey fans, and maybe even opened up eyes to the sport of hockey to new viewers. You know how it is, people when they hear a story, they just want to see how it's unfolding. Maybe the NHL even got some new fans after that game. It was great to see the fans and his peers kind of rally together and making a memory of a lifetime for the guy. I'm sure if he hadn't been there, there would not have been as many viewers for that NHL All-Star Game. I think John Scott, honestly, he saved the NHL All-Star Game. No one really likes these All-Star Games, and brought fun to an event that otherwise, would have been considered boring. The players all seemed to enjoy it, even like a stage fight between him and Patrick Kane, if you've seen that. Obviously, it was staged, but, it was fun to see. Players seem to enjoy it. They all showed that they have huge hearts. I think the NHL players are probably one of the most classiest players there is. You never hear anything bad about an NHL player, unlike, what you hear from football, basketball, and things like this. Good for John Scott. Definitely a class act from what you see and what you hear. So it's a good story for John Scott. And the NHL, it turned out to be a